Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Grand Torino. Delighted you could join me. I have two articles I want to bring to your attention and touch in with you. Please, before I get started, please, as I always encourage you, don't forget, smash that like button if you haven't done so already. Please hit the description box if you haven't done so already, and the bell. You'll be reminded of future broadcasts here on the Grand Torino. Like I said, two articles to bring to your attention today, all involving around today's theme, the big lie. We're all expected to believe the big lie that's being pushed on upon us. And I want to touch in on two articles that brought to my attention yesterday, run from both authors. I have criticized quite harshly in the past, but John really steps out of his comfort zone and writes this piece from Gript, and also to have a piece from Ronan Mullins, who wrote another piece that I want to contrast with you over on the Irish Slimes. We jump in straight away, no messing around. Let me bring you straight into this first article. This from John McCork of Gript.ie. To the trans activists, the truth is a mortal enemy. In a time of deceit, said George Orwell, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. So in that spirit, here is the truth. Every single person reading this article was born either male or female, and will be male or female until they die. Not one of you chose your gender any more than you chose your height, your hair color, your skin color, or in the hospital in which you were born. While it is possible for a man to live his life as a woman, or a woman to live her life as a man, it is not possible for a man to become a woman or for a woman to become a man, any more than it is possible for a man to become a turkey or a woman to become an elephant. Those who do deserve to live their lives as the opposite gender deserve our respect and our compassion, and do not deserve our mockery or our scorn. In most cases, they have struggled and battled with a crippling condition, gender dysphoria, and have chosen to live in a way that makes them happy. That is brave, and they are human and deserving of respect as any other person. But a man choosing to live his life as a woman is not a woman, and a woman choosing to live her life as a man is not a man, and they never will be. Some people will find those words hurtful and cruel. They are not intended to be hurtful or cruel, and indeed, it should not even be necessary to utter them, but it is. It is necessary because in Ireland we are now faced with a well-organised, massively funded and well-supported campaign to make uttering them unacceptable, if not illegal. These facts, according to a letter signed by Amnesty International, the Women's Council, and a whole host of other taxpayer-funded organisations, are bigoted and far-right. Here is the letter. Here is Gary's report on it yesterday. The letter urges media organisations and politicians to, quote, deny representation to those who recognise the truth that gender is decided at birth. Quote, we call on media and politicians, it says, to no longer provide legitimate representation to those that share bigoted beliefs, that are aligned with far-right ideologies and seek nothing but harm and division. This campaign will not succeed because there simply is no majority for it. It requires us all to deny objective reality and to pretend that our very chromosomes and DNA are irrelevant to who we are. It is, in Orwell's words, a campaign of universal deceit. It seeks to tell children at a young age that everything that they know about themselves might be a lie. You are not really a girl, it says, because if you want to be, you can be a boy. This is a lie. You are not really a boy, it says, because if you want to be, you can be a girl. That too is a lie. It is not only a destructive lie, but a truly evil one, for it sets a child down a path of self-doubt and self-questioning to which there is no happy ending. No self-affirming movie montage or self-fulfillment. For millions, there are now millions worldwide of teenagers. It ends in depression, self-loathing, and a feeling that life itself has cheated them. Time and time again, these feelings are blamed not on those who promote the lies, but on transphobes, mythical beings who, in this telling, are out to destroy the happiness of young people. But the blame really lies with the trans rights activists. Gender, these activists say, is merely a social construct. In other words, you are only a male or a female because society has told you that that's what you are. A penis, they say, does not make you a man because some women have penises too. This is a lie. Women do not have penises. Some men have periods, they insist. This is a lie. Men do not have periods. Some men give birth, they say. This too is a lie. Men do not give birth. These are not fringe ideas. They are held, for example, by all of Ireland's political parties, without question. If you want to make Micheál Martin uncomfortable, and on this subject anyway, no journalist does, just ask him if men can have periods and watch him struggle to avoid saying no. He doesn't believe it, of course, but he's too scared to tell the truth. All of them are. Because if you tell the truth, you are a transphobe by these self-styled trans rights activists. You must share your pronouns on social media page, they say, because it is wrong to just look at someone and assume that they are male or female, but that is absurd. The human eye has been trained by 10,000 years of evolution to automatically detect someone's gender. These people are literally telling us that our eyes themselves might be lying to us and that it is wrong to assume someone's gender. In university debating circles, young men and women are now being trained to tell the audience what gender they are in case people get the wrong idea. This is a lie too. It's nearly all a lie. In extreme cases, we now have celebrities and many other misguided parents raising their children to be gender neutral, leaving it up to the child themselves to decide whether they are a boy or a girl. This is child abuse. It is child abuse because it actively encourages children to consider as a valid option an act of tremendous and irreversible self-harm, and not simply as an option, but as a 50-50 choice. Ask any transgender person whether the transition process is pleasant, and you will get your answer. Courses of hormone treatments designed to fight the natural instincts of the human body and confuse the human brain. Operations to remove breasts and penises and ovaries. In cases where an artificial vagina is created, the body, knowing no better and thinking that it has been wounded, will try to heal the wound. It must at all times be artificially kept open. This is the truth, and it is wrong to seek to suppress it. Even in the genuine cases where gender dysphoria makes these measures necessary, they are brutal and costly and tragic. To present this course to young people as a path of self-actualization is worse than wrong. It is actively cruel. In Ireland, we are now faced with a well-organised campaign to make gender just another choice. We have become so used in recent years to the argument for choice that we almost instinctively accept it. The choice is to die, the choice to end a pregnancy. Choice, we are told, is liberating. So why not the choice to be a different gender? And the answer to that question is that it is not a choice because it is not physically possible. It is dangerous to pretend it is. It is not only dangerous for the person involved, it is dangerous for society. Because in the name of that choice, Irish judges, prison officers must accept that a biologically male rapist is a woman who should be housed in a woman's prison. Irish girls must accept that biological male who is faster than they are should take their place on the soccer team. Irish women must accept reading about crimes of rape, battery, and violence committed by women when they know in their hearts these are actually men. And often, thanks to our absurd gender self-identification law, men who have had no medical treatment and have no genuine desire to live as women. We must all accept the big lie. Writing this piece, of course, marks me out as a far-right transphobe. Agreeing with it marks you out as one too. But it is not true. Trans people deserve our compassion, not our contempt. But they deserve our honesty, and society cannot function when we are all asked to believe a lie. Amnesty and the Women's Council and their allied politicians may well achieve political wins in the coming years. They may change the law. They may succeed in turning articles like this one into hate speech. But they will never succeed in suppressing the truth, because in our hearts, each and every one of us knows that they are peddling a lie. And I have to give props out to John McGurk for penning such an article, and he is right. He will be roundly castigated on and actively targeted by trans rights activists so that we have to believe in the lie that they are peddling. Some of us have already gone through the scorching of the trans right activist needs. Some of us have been demonetized. Some of us had our right to freedom of expression on, as you would say, a private platform. But if you're going against arbitrary guidelines or arbitrary rules, how can you dare to compete in the free market of ideas? Surely suppressing one side is erroneous to society if we allow only one side of the argument to take over the general narrative. Now, I want to shift over onto Rona Mullen's article, which does lend itself to John, but the fact that we are expected to believe the big lie ties in with Ronan's article now, penned over on the Irish Times, titled "Many Exalted Western Values Rooted in Christian Tradition." Now, I know I keep going on, I'm going back, but it is how, from the subjective point of view, we reason and rationale. It is how we come to understand our epistemology. And that ties in with the trans right by John's article. People need to understand and question their epistemology. The epistemology, how do you come to know what you know? And if we are expected to believe on a big lie, then how can society function if we are all submerged in the lie? The truth will out. It cannot be prevented from doing so, because that is the natural order of things, natural law. You jump over to Ronald Mullen's article here. Many exalted Western values rooted in Christian tradition. A recent letter to this newspaper contended that the logical outcome of all Catholic politicians following Catholic teaching in their political lives was a theocracy. The writer invoked memories of an old Ireland with some Catholics in politics declared themselves bound to obey the rulings of their church in their decision-making. Then, presuming causation and ignoring the possibility of similar miseries elsewhere, he linked poverty, emigration, censorship, cruelty to women and children, etc., with this theocratic Ireland. Theocracy is a system of government where priests, not politicians, rule in the name of God or a God, where laws command support from a religious minority, but are oppressive to a religious or non-religious minority. You have crude majoritarianism, not theocracy. But linking religiously influenced ideas with theocracy has propaganda value. If you don't like what religious values inspire some people to think, you can suggest that they are not thinking for themselves at all. That is indeed what I think we are all doing. We are not thinking for ourselves. Many of the values we most cherish in the Western world, from racial equality to concern for the poor, do not stem from the Enlightenment or the French Revolution. They have deeper roots in the Christian Revolution. Other social ideas strongly rooted in the heritage of Christianity go beyond mere justice to include care for the poor, the homeless, and the migrant. Long before the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, 1789, the Spanish Dominican friar Bartolomé de las Casas, 1484 to 1566, saw that the evils committed by European conquerors in the Americas, and understood that St. Paul's words that, quote, "there is neither slave nor free," meant that human beings had rights and that must be respected by everybody. The common good. Critics of the Catholic Church often struggle to grasp that its faithful may draw on this heritage when formulating ideas about the common good, that in thinking for themselves that they might be intellectually persuaded by what their church proposes. Consider laws on marriage or right to life issues as they affect the welfare of third parties. Here, the Church's perspective on the common good is easily shared by non-believers. The famous rationalist John Stuart Mill posited that only purpose for which power can be rightfully exercised over any member of a civilized community against his will is to prevent harm to others. This idea sits harmoniously with Christian notions of protecting the vulnerable and of the legitimacy of restraining your freedom and mine in order to do so. Other social ideas strongly rooted in the heritage of Christianity go beyond mere justice to include care for the poor, the homeless, and the migrant. These values are so widely held that we don't even bother to inquire into their origin among us. They have prevailed to varying extents outside of Christian civilization. But if you have any doubt about how they came to influence our culture, read the history of the Roman Empire. People of goodwill. There are, of course, aspects of the Catholic or Christian social teaching where reasons alone do not seem to bring the point home without the guiding light of faith. If you think we are just chemicals, you may reason one way. If you believe that we are beloved children of God, you may argue differently. Christians need prudence here. People have the right to present their ideas on whatever basis they like because God and the church say so. Could be a reason enough for one, but just as because there is no God and anything goes, may be sufficient argument for another. But these are unhelpful, unconvincing extremes. If you're promoting the common good, it is futile to advocate public policy on grounds that cannot be supported by people of goodwill, of different faiths, and none. There are challenges for everyone here. Believers must accept that not everybody shares their idea of a God who demands justice, charity, and ultimate accountability. Atheist champions of reason alone may struggle to locate a higher value by which to justify their admirable condemnation of survival of the fittest and the neglect of the poor. Our starting premises are not easily provable, but they set the compass for our thoughts. If you think we are just chemicals, you may reason one way. If you believe that we are the beloved children of God, you may argue differently. If you believe in a God that is not loving, then God help us. Most of us are ready to agree that human life and human dignity are sacred. We may continue to wonder if this is a religious or a rational worldview or both, and then we have to debate the application of that vision to our policies and laws. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I offer you both sides. Roland's article is asking you to question from your subjective point of view how you come to understand and accept the care and respect of human beings as entities, as individual sovereign rights individuals. And if you come from a place of atheism, if you come from a place of religious doctrine, or if you indeed, as Ronan argued there, you come from a God that a non-loving God, your subjective worldview is there, and your ideas should be expressed, but it should not curtail the freedoms and movements and rights of other human beings at the at the uh, at the elevation to another's freedom of rights expression and freedom of ideas, freedom of thoughts, and freedom to assembly. That is why the Constitution, I believe, is so imperative that we protect and that we enforce and that we use. And when I say that, we use to the oath keepers on Garda Síochána, the police service here in the Republic of Ireland. We must hold them to their oath of office, not their oath of office, but to their oath to the Constitution, which guarantees us our inalienable rights, rights not given to us by a government, and you can choose to believe either by a God or just they are. They cannot be rescinded by a government. And it is with those rights that I want to bring in Emma Kenny. You'll know her from across the water, one of our own living and working abroad, but a very high-profile influencer. And when people of good rationale and honesty and integrity begin to question their epistemology, they come up with these things. And she posits this for you to digest at your own leisure. We just play this here for you now. Take it away, Emma. Reading passes there, and you can hear the frustration in Emma's voice there as well. Uh, so, with that in mind, I want to bring it to your attention here that those that are promulgating the message of lies, those that are asking us to accept the reality, the no, those that are accepting, sorry, those that are promulgating the message and those that are pushing the lie and asking us to deny objective reality or subjective reality in front of our very eyes and not to give in to the lie that ties in with all things. The truth must out. Even this here uh, from RTE, the the controllers of the narrative, those that are facilitating the fourth estate, which is so roundly let us down and failed us and is complicit in the lie that is bringing about the dictatorship by censoring alternative voices and alternative media and alternative sources of information, by not allowing the debate between O'Neill, Professor O'Neill, who I want to finish off on here, and Professor Dolores Cahill. I hope I got that right down there for you folks down in Tipperary. Cahill! I've been long castigated for my mispronunciation of the Cahill. But this from RTE, just to start us off, and I want to bring you off, and just before I let you go, Luke O'Neill, that's been pushed out on mainstream media over here in the Republic of Ireland, on our national broadcaster, on our national airwaves, who has flip-flopped and lied to you time and time again, but you push past because, he's a gas lad. God, he's the science. Here comes the science now. He's the fucking Irish version of Bill Nye, the science guy, not even a scientist, and he's promulgating messages that are being pushed down from his paymasters, Big Pharma. This one here, and this is in relation to Operation Christmas, and I encourage you now to start beginning in earnest Operation Christmas. Do not allow them to steal our Christmas away from us. Let's go over the top in our Christmas celebrations, and let's get amongst our nearest and dearest, and let's bring back the hug. Sod the handshake, bring back the hug. He writes, Luke O'Neill started this out and is quoted by RTE as saying, if people are having Christmas dinner with others, Professor O'Neill says, Bill Nye, the science guy, they should bring their own dinnerware. Have a single person do all the serving to keep numbers down in the kitchen. Do you hear that, Maureen? You're in the kitchen for the day. Stagger people around the table to avoid sitting opposite each other. Have good ventilation. Do not spend too long in each other's company. You can't be having 10 hours in a stuffy room together playing family games, Professor O'Neill said. He said ventilation is one of the key pieces of advice from the Centre of Diseases Control in the US. That is which is guiding people on how to celebrate Thanksgiving safely. He said the ventilation is one of the key pieces of advice from the centre and to celebrate Thanksgiving safely. Good ventilation, open the window, have a heater on if you get cold. So open your window, but sit by the heater. Such nonsense. Stick Grandpa by the window and have a good breeze blowing through it, and this will really decrease the risk. So it is possible to have a Christmas together, Professor Luke O'Neill has said. But let's check out some other things from Professor Luke O'Neill, like the fact that Professor O'Neill, the RTE, the voice of all things COVID, the proclaimer of our salvation through the Pfizer vaccine. We note that on the 29th of the 1st, 2019, he received €86,520 funding from Pfizer in the UK. And again, on the 21st of the 1st, 2019, received €191,100 from GSK in the UK. Now pay attention. On the 25th of the 1st, 2019, he received $1,573,425 GBH from the Wellcome Trust, which is funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And on the 15th of the 10th, 2019, received $1,522,199 GBH from Wellcome. And I remind you, Wellcome was the original testers on the mothers and babies homes in Tuam and all the institutions in the 50s and 60s that were conducting vaccine trials on children that are in the state care, some of whom have never had a record compensation, some of them who died, and some of them who are lost to record. And this company has been enveloped by GSK and is still operating under their umbrella. And this porn merchant, this fear porn merchant, is pushing and promulgating lie after lie for these reasons. On the 21st of the 4th, 2020, he sold Citrex, a company he co-founded with grants from the Irish taxpayer to Eli Lilly, another vaccine maker. Citrex will receive an upfront payment of 50 million and 10 million equity investment from Eli Lilly. If the partnership achieves all its targets, Citrex could receive up to 820 million in addition to royalty payments on sales. Why would you take advice from a snake oil salesman who is clearly going to make huge profits from your misery and promoting and pushing the vaccine lie that you need a vaccine? A vaccine of no origin, whether it's AstraZeneca, GSK, Moderna, all the other ones. Oh, they're at 75% efficiency. It's great. It means that 60% of us will get back to normal, but 40% of us will be on the butcher's table. Do you want to be part of that 40%? Do you want to be part of that lie? Are you still willing to engage against objective reality and what your lying eyes, what your eyes are telling you, when this snake oil salesman is selling you nothing but an untested concoction of materials from aluminum to mercury to fetal cells? You're injecting another human cells, an aborted human being into your cells. And it's already stated, and you can quote me on this will alter your DNA. This mRNA vaccine, new technology that's going to be rolled out to you and primarily to the vulnerable, the elderly and children first of all. I encourage you, I beseech you, I importune you to have a think on your epistemology. Do your research, open the book, question everything, and do not allow yourself to be injected without consent. Informed consent means to inform yourself. And by right of way, we should also instigate that all doctors, all the leading edges, those that are co-sponsored by these vaccine makers, they should wear that white jacket like Formula One racing drivers so we can see which big companies are firm. There should be a law requiring doctors and scientists to wear sponsored jackets like NASCAR drivers. That way we will know which big pharma vaccine company owned them. And last but not least, I think, drop that out there. That's all three. Okay. My apologies for the little rant there towards the end. I'm going to sign off there. And I hope you take Emma's words, and I hope you take this and our friends over in the trans rights activists, they take that in the merit that it's when. We should not be forced, coerced to perpetrate a lie, because the downfall of society is pushed on these lies, is premised on these lies. I'm asking you to openly, objectively question your epistemology and question, what is your red line in the sand? If there is an ounce of uncertainty in any of these medical tyrannies, as we live under a medical tyranny by politicians who are drunk on power and who will never renege on the powers that they have given themselves, and keep teasing with these honeymoon dates that they're going to stop all of this and we can return back to the nothing is going to happen until you take the vaccine. And if you don't take the vaccine, you're going to be isolated in an isolation camp for your benefit and for the benefits of others. So the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the individual. Welcome to 1984. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to sign off there. I want to thank each and every one of you for your support. If you haven't done so, please smash that like button, also the subscription button and the bell, and you'll be reminded of future broadcasts here in the Grand Torino. Please, if you could, please leave your thoughts, comments and witticisms over here on YouTube. We do love to read through them. And if you could, please leave your comment down there below. Also, we are demonetized and we are not demoralized, and we thank each and every one of you who continue to support the channel. Those of you considering could head over to the Grand Torino website, World Wide Web, grandtorino.ie. Also, links in the description box how you can help maintain this platform's independence. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully back with you this evening, but apologies for last night's broadcast. The sound was absolutely dreadful. I hope we have got this sound organised. Want to leave you off on a bit of a lighter note. Baby, are you in the house?
Yeah, I'm always here. There were some great articles. And Emma Kenny, she was great. Yeah, I mean, everybody, we have to, for the sake of children like me, question what's going on. If you allow this to happen, then my future is up for grabs.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let you go there. I hope you have a great and blessed day. Possibly, hopefully, see you later on this evening. Take care, everybody.
Bus.